Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. You know, there's certain things that you don't expect, but then in hindsight you look back and it seems rather obvious. I guess it feels inevitable in a way. After years of conservatives sounding off on the alarm when it comes to illegal migration, Democrats, left-wingers, left-wing voters have scoffed at the notion, simply applied the label of racism to any conservative who voices their opinion on that matter, and they moved on. It's not open borders. They're asylum seekers. We must be compassionate. It's the right thing to do. Well, all of a sudden, we're in a situation that we've been in before. I mean, at this point, it's like every single year we're in the exact same situation. We're sitting here saying, we told you so. I mean, would you look at that? In the far left Democrat stronghold that is Chicago, all of a sudden residents in lower income neighborhoods who have been voting for Democrats at 90% for decades, I'm just gonna say it, sound like Trump supporters. You guys aren't gonna believe this. We gotta talk about this. We got some stuff to get into. Let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so the story today comes from Anthony Brian Logan's news website. The title of the article, Chicago residents of Woodlawn community are being harassed by migrants. Let's first start off with the photo featured at the center here. What do you notice? What do you see? This is a deep Democrat stronghold, I believe on the south side of Chicago, and we have a person in the crowd with a Build the Wall 2024 poster. Not exactly what you expect to see there, huh? Clearly there's a certain immigration sentiment that seems to be creeping up, and if you actually listen to the residents of this neighborhood, I don't exactly blame them.
Let them talk so they have a voice.
A call for order during a heated meeting at Woodlawn's Apostolic Church of God.
Who's helping me?
The focus, this migrant shelter in the old Wadsworth Elementary School.
I would ask you all to go out there at night, in the middle of the night, and see what goes on.
What's going on, according to community members, is loitering, late-night partying, littering, prostitution, and at least one fight between migrants and residents.
It got a little heated. Objects got thrown.
But many of these residents say they no longer have any tolerance for the disruptive behavior by those seeking asylum here. It's making them feel unsafe.
They disrespect us, they rob us, they harass us.
And their patience is wearing thin.
Let me say this. They got one more time to deal with it, because otherwise, next time they deal with it, they're going to deal with it from the streets. We're going to take over it. Nobody's going to be able to stop us from what we're going to do to them.
Much of the residents' anger was directed at city officials in attendance, including 20th Ward Alderwoman Jeanette Taylor, Chicago Deputy Police Chief Stephen Chung, and Family and Support Services Commissioner Brandy Kanazi. At one point, police had to intervene, breaking up an argument during public comments.
And that absolutely is a problem.
And Alderwoman Taylor says she's now seen some of them firsthand.
The people who are keeping up the trouble are the people who are kicked out of the damn shelter.
You know, it's the typical Democrat Party shady tactic, convincing less affluent people to vote for the Democrat Party because we have your interest at heart, and we have the interest of refugees and those most vulnerable. You vote for them, and then what do you get? You get complete chaos. You know, if you're one of those American citizens who's part of that less affluent neighborhood, you're not getting services, you're not getting better schools, a cleaner neighborhood, a safer environment. You're getting a defunded police and a massive influx in illegal migrants that you have to house in your schools and community centers. You have these elitist, rich Democrats who say, vote for me because I care about you, little guy, and I care so much about the world's poor that we're going to classify them as asylum seekers and grant them a path to entry or even allow them to work illegally. And what does that do? And nobody asks questions. Where are you going to house these people, Mr. Democrat? Well, we're going to house them in the most poor neighborhoods. You're going to have to take on the burden. You know, those richer districts with better facilities and more money, those areas are probably better suited for handling these illegal migrants. But nah, of course not. Our rich constituents aren't going to have to bear the burden. No, that's going to go into the poorest of poor communities, as if you guys don't already have enough issues to contend with. It's a slap in the face is what it is. Not to mention the downward pressure on jobs, which we've already mentioned a million times. You not only have to house them in your community, but you now have extra competition on the same lower skilled jobs, except all of these illegal migrants have a little bit of a competitive advantage over you in terms of the job market, or the lower end job, because they're working for cash and they're willing to work for essentially nothing. Wake up. It's the same thing over and over again. Democrats don't give a you-know-what about the communities that they pretend to care for. If they did, they would never do something like this, obviously, because it never made sense in the first place. But they packaged it up, they misrepresented it, they sold it, and of course, hook, line, and sinker, Democrat voters, and especially historically loyal Democrat voters, seem to fall for it every single time. Although this time it might be a little bit different, because the illegal migrant crisis has hit critical mass. I mean, how long can something like this go on, especially compounding on all the other issues in Chicago, until the residents end up saying one very specific sentence: enough is enough. It seems like we're headed towards that direction, especially with this new clown who's assumed the office of mayor after walking, talking disaster, Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot. Let's just say many residents aren't exactly happy with his recent performance since taking over.
I want to say real fast to the black community of this town, in the words of Malcolm X, we've been hoodwinked, run amok, bamboozled, and those crooked, probate judges.
Yeah, right.
The crooked probate judges.
Tell them.
Do I need to name the names so you gonna get on it? Because if you don't get on it, I'm coming back and I'm naming names.
Silver cord.
And silver cord is where they're getting us. That's where they're giving us the economic harm.
Yeah,
In processes like probate.
that's right.
Mayor Johnson, I need you to listen. I need your undivided attention.
That's
so that
right.
you can hear what the soul of Chicago is like.
Yeah.
Talk to him.
Oh,
That probate division. It's not just the immigrants that's coming in and bogarting our communities. That probate division with the public administration office is illegally taking our properties.
People are pissed, man, and I mean pissed. It's a city that keeps voting Democrat over and over again, especially all the elites who live in their fancy districts and fancy neighborhoods. They keep voting Democrat over and over again, based on the premise that they're doing the right thing for the poor people that need them. Yet all they do is vote for policies that continue to make problems worse, compound problem on problem on problem. From defunding the police and seeing the biggest rise in crime since the 1990s in cities like Chicago and others, to now suffering the consequences of labeling themselves a sanctuary city. I'm honestly glad that the city and the residents are finally suffering the consequences of their voting patterns. You know, I'll repeat what I usually say in this situation. This is further proof as to why Ron DeSantis and Governor Greg Abbott shipping illegal migrants to New York, Chicago, and other states wasn't just a political stunt. It was policy. They implemented policy, they declared that they were a sanctuary city, and so simply live up to your word. Live up to what is written in the policy. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Vote Democrat, win stupid prizes. It's the same damn thing. We're seeing that in real time, and all of a sudden, we're hearing what sound like Trump-style Republican talking points coming out of the mouths of residents living in the south side of Chicago. I honestly didn't think I'd see the day, at least not this soon. That's what I got for you guys, though. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. You know that we would love to have you here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.